So it's a new day. I have not touched this basically since the storage disk on my camera ran out of space. So we haven't made any progress except for two things. Number one, I broke this part. It's this is what helps advance, and it has a very, very odd entry. I don't know what you call that. And I tried a couple of different things that I found out don't work. My Torx bit doesn't fit in. It's too big, this part. This is a T, I don't know, Stanley CRV. Anyway, so that's too big and didn't fit in there. And then I found that just kind of a regular straight through bit for screwdrivers and things like that, it actually grabbed. And when I started prying, I guess I was prying on fewer points than it was hoping for, and it broke. So I had to tap it out or get it spinning with a tool that I'm not proud I used. So, but anyway, it's out, which is awesome. That part's free. But I did not make any progress on retrieving the valve, which is part of the housing inside the I don't know, the inlet. It's on the fuel's way to the transfer pump. It has to come through that orifice there. And that little, there's a valve in there. I've seen it in the pictures. This one is jammed, won't move. And I'm gonna try to warm it up just a little bit. And then I have a trick that I hope will make pulling it out super, super easy. I've got some, it's basically spray air, but it has a tube. So when you pull the trigger, the actual liquid comes out instead of just air for spray air. So I'm gonna set this up in the vise, and I'm gonna warm this outside of the housing up with a torch. Hopefully the diesel won't ignite and burn down the shop. So let's try that. So hang on. All right, here's the idea. I've got a couple of pieces of wood, for lack of a better term. I'm going to set those on this orifice or that flange there so that it won't get messed up in this vise. I'm going to gently pinch with that. Oh, should I try to pull the O-ring out? I think I'll try to pull the O-ring out because there is an O-ring on top of this. And who knows, maybe that's what's gumming up the whole thing anyway. Little O-ring. I've got this file that a long time ago I bent the end with a nice flat, and it I think is a really good tool to grab onto the hole that's down in there. And I want to try not to harm the inside of this. Oh, it moved. Oh, it's moving. Almost got it. Well, there it is. Awesome. I guess I don't know how the O-ring was stopping it, but the O-ring made it impossible to pull that out. So, okay, sweet. I'm so glad I don't have to heat that up. Also, inside of here is the piston that needs to be freely moving back and forth, and it did not come out from tapping the whole thing earlier, so I have a feeling it's part of why I don't have any fuel going into the pump. There is a spring down there. Anyway, okay, that's the part I don't think I've seen anybody else do on a YouTube video. That's something new. Okay, back to the table. And the spring comes out nice and easy. I guess in that same bin, hopefully I don't forget. But I think we need to get the piston out of here. And I think just a normal punch, maybe? I don't know, that's too tight. A really skinny punch. Okay, And I don't think the surfaces that matter are the face, so I think it's okay to tap on this. So let's see, that would be going deeper into the valve. Okay. By the sound of it, it does sound like it moved. I'm going to put this piece of wood, I don't want this hitting the metal underneath. So I'm just going to go back and forth. A little tiny bit of WD-40 probably can't hurt. Back towards the top. Yeah, it moved a little tiny bit again. Oh yeah, less effort that time. Oh, this thing is not good. Okay, a little more movement. Almost all the way out. Okay, does not like going that way. Okay, good. We got it all the way to the bottom. I think I'm almost out of room to push. Yeah, no more tapping. Something to push with. I hope I don't have to replace this. Okay, I found a small piece of wire fence, hog fence, I think, that I was able to clean up the end. And my goal is to just push that plunger out the bottom. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, that's gonna go back in there as well as that. Okay, cool. I think that was a major contributor to the problems that this pump was having. So awesome, I'm glad to have that addressed a little bit. The rebuild kit is in the mail. I was hoping to have it by Saturday. Today's Monday, so it's a little bit behind. But anyway, okay, let's move on with our disassembly. We need a 27 tooth or whatever it is socket for that guy. It's 7/16, I think. Yep. And there's the ratchet. Easy, nice, easy. I don't know what's in there, but a couple of O-rings on that. Put these probably in a new bin because we're starting a new journey. Okay. And then both of these come out. Those are 1/2 inch. By the way, at the back of the book, it actually has all the torque specs for all of these. Oh, man. Okay, and I believe it is now free to retract from this. Turn. Okay, nice and easy. All right, that was easy. There's okay. Two things. There is the transfer pump and the vanes. And when I put those back together, is when it's probably important to look at the information that was on them. And then we are going to take the rest of this all the way apart. So we're going to need to retract those washers in a minute. But I think first we're going to do this spring here. Good, saved that. All right, and that plate has a line drawn right here that matches there. So when reassembling, this needs to line up with those two. But this is broken. This pieces of pieces is supposed to be connected to this. And it does that through them. And there should be, oh, there's a little piece of it. There should be some gasket that goes all the way around here. And there is one coming in the kit that I bought, and it's clear. It's like white. And some people are saying that it's the diesel fuel that actually rots these and turns them black. And it can fill your pump with all kinds of garbage. And so I bought a not two-part one, but it's important that I keep this one around because the timing mark on the outside of this will not be on the new one. So I have to find it and score the new one. So I'm not going to put that in a cleaner because it's not worth cleaning, but we can't throw it away. And then everyone says to check this bronze in here, and mine feels fine. Still clean. Yeah, that one feels fine. So this is now empty. Honestly, I have no idea how to tell what condition it's in, so I'm just going to set it aside. What I'm curious about is the air drain from this pump. And don't know where it is. That's the bottom screw. Those are the two side screws. It's got to be this right here. You see right there? That's got to be where the air is trying to pass through a wire. So we'll get into that in a second. I have no idea how to guarantee that that's in good shape. 10373, 10373, and it has an arrow on it that indicates the direction of the pump. Mine's a counterclockwise pump. I have no way of guaranteeing that that's the correct order that it was in when I took that apart, so I don't know. These are the actual pumps. When fuel will come into an area next to these, it should push these both out. Oh my goodness, it's not that much. Boy, it is not that much. You can kind of see there's a gap there now. And then when they go through another area of the pump, they go in. And it's that pushed out by the transfer pump, pushed in by the ring that these are part of. That's the actual pump. And I have no way of knowing if that's a lot, if that's not very much at all. So I don't know. I'm just going to take them out, have a look at them. They do rotate freely. There's no noise. Yeah, very smooth. So I think these are okay. I'm just a little bit surprised by how small of a gap that is. It's like nothing. And that one is also spinning freely. Good. Nice clean diesel. And then inside of there are some pistons that go back and forth. do move, but they are difficult to move. So we'll clean those really well before we reassemble it. And that's that. Okay. Let's remove this retaining spring. That's the wrong tool. Okay, try a really small screwdriver. Just okay, I think when I lift this off, yep, ready to go. Okay, empty those into the mix. All right, that is that part. I don't know. It's got an O-ring on that side. In here, I need a Allen key. Let me go find an Allen key. I think there's one in the bin. Yep, that one fits. Okay. This is the transfer pump, or the transfer pump's one-way valve. Fuel gets pushed by those vanes into this chamber. It is retained by a nut. I don't know if one side has been ground and the other side is not, but there's a piece here that is supposed to be thrown away. That presses up against this and creates a one-way valve. So fuel can slip by and then fuel can't get back. Slip by, can't get back. This is throwaway, you're supposed to replace that. And anything else? Oh yeah, there's a part in there. Oh yeah, there's another piece of that part broke. Just slam it on the finger. Huh. There it is. And got some diesel in there. It's my first time using the fuel of something I'm using that was recommended. I used to use gasoline for everything, and it was always like, I remember commercials back in the 80s, or maybe it was the 90s, saying gasoline's not a solvent. But apparently diesel, safe as a solvent. Okay, do we have any parts remaining? This is the valve that determines how far out those rollers can go. So tightening that creates more fuel flow or volume, but I'm not touching it. These different ports are where the fuel goes, and one of them, while it's rotating, is the out port that goes to the different injectors. So we'll rest you in some diesel. What I want to find is whichever, boy, that is gummed up. Whichever one of these is the air vent, and I think it's this one right here. I'm almost positive it's that one, and it's got some sealant Yeah, probably sealed because they don't want me messing with it. But that's the only orifice that I see that corresponds to the drain, which is in the location at the top of the pump. So, you know, none of this was a good idea to take apart and clean. So I'm just gonna take it apart. I'm not sure that's sealant. That looks like paint from the tractor. It's thin. All right, I'm gonna look for Allen key. It's in there. In case I haven't already said it, don't do anything I'm doing with the idea that I'm teaching. I'm not teaching, I'm just sharing my experience of learning. This doesn't feel right. Now that one is an Allen head, but it's at the bottom, it's at the wrong side. That's a drain of some kind. Hope that's free and clear. But, I mean, I see this red paint looking like stuff up in this hole. This has to be the wire vent. Well, maybe it's not. Let's try some compressed air. Okay, that does feel like an Allen. Oh, dang. This feels wrong. Came right out. Oh, crap. Okay, I have no idea what this is, but this was in there. Oh, joy. I'm not seeing what I was expecting. The video I saw of another person, the guy took out a port like this, an Allen cap, and it had a hole drilled, really, really tall, tiny hole, and a piece of wire. And, oh shoot, something else fell out. Oh, an even tinier thing. Okay, done it now. Where does it even go? Crap, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, it doesn't have paint all around it anymore. still don't see where it comes out. And I guess I'd like to. It's definitely not on the inside. This didn't appear on any of the drawings that I have in any of the books that I have. So this is new. Which is just lovely. All right, well, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with a really small dowel, metal dowel. Followed by a slightly larger dowel. Doesn't look like this has particularly factory cuts on it or anything. They both fit in there. I'm so confused. I mean, obviously, if anybody knows what that is or what it does, when I post this video, if you're reading this, will you please let me know what that is? And if it's the vent. Okay, I came into the house where my manual is. Not a good place for it, but as you can see, I've got the DB and also the DB2 pump PDFs that I've printed out. And there's two things I wanted to show in here. This is the only place in any documentation that I see anything about that tube that I think is the vent that has the two steel dowels in it. There is never, so this spot right here, there is no exploded view that shows the two dowels. There's no part numbers, just a long orifice with the little thing we took off that ends there. And that's it. There's no picture of it here, but there's no parts. None of these parts show it. It's mentioned, like there's the return oil circuit. Sorry if this is going back and forth too fast to be fun to watch. There's discharge. So yeah, those steel dowels are the only evidence that they exist. There's no documentation that shows them existing. And then the other thing, I immediately got disorganized. The larger part of the regulator is on the upside, the smaller part where the internal piston does not move, so it's jammed. It's at the bottom. So I have got to get back out there and clean off the inside diameter of this part, and then, you know, forget the idea that that's the part that's deep. The smoother part's the part that's deep, and I've got to find a way to get that guy to be happy moving up and down, because it's obvious that it needs to move for different operations. So yeah, I immediately got that thing turned upside down in my mind, and that's not helping. But yeah, that little steel piston is gonna have to smoothly go up and down, or I'm not gonna be able to change modes, I guess. So yeah, little update. And then I know where I got the idea for the Allen head that has a piece of wire through it. It's of the DB2 pump, and it's right here. You can see there's a little Allen head or a key, and that little tiny curly Q at the bottom right here, sorry, is a small piece of multi-strand wire that allows air but not fuel to pass out of the system. So that is a DB2 feature. That other one, I don't know how to call them. They're not documented anywhere. They're clearly in the pump, but I have no idea what they are. If I wanted to reorder one, there's no way. So I guess I need to be careful not to lose those things. I gotta open this other one. I gotta know. Just trying to get the rest of that paint off of this guy. What about you? Yeah, look at that. It's not like it's rubber seal. It is some kind of brittle. It reminds me of paint. Okay, same thing, same size. Let's turn it over. Okay, that's a nice straight line to here. And I think that is the reed valve that has our amount of fuel we let into the pump. So that's good. And I can see both sides of that. Maybe I'm wrong. Shoot. Just went right past what I thought I was spraying. Okay, I do not fully understand the purpose. Is that supposed to be jammed up? It's just a pin hole. What's going on here? I've lost. Okay, well, it's cleaned out. Let's reassemble it. Touch a WD-40. That thing's been cleaned. Okay, I don't think that either of those is an adjustment, so I'm happy just putting them in. Yeah, that pin that's in there now moves back and forth. So please, if you know what is behind that plug underneath that hole there and seems to run all the way back here, but also has two metal dowels, please let me know. I would love to know if there's more I need to do other than just make sure that they're moving freely. Okay, let's see. Let's set this aside. I would like to set it in the future. And I think we can move on now to just some independent, individual component plating. So you're about as done as I can do. These guys. Okay, you have washer. Orifice. I read you're not supposed to use wire brushes, so no wire brushes. I've also been told not to do this, so sometimes I have selective hearing. Diesel fuel comes in through these openings and pushes this piston against the thing I broke, against this, thus rotating this and advancing the timing. Feels like that's a solid piece. We'll scrub it. Oh, it is nice and shiny. Okay, the flat part that has the washer on it, and then the part, ironically, that has a divot that looks almost like it's meant for the control horn I broke. Okay, clean. Let's see. That's kind of interesting. I didn't notice that till just right now. The groove that's been cut in that piston is like a maximum. As soon as, maybe? Oh, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, that moves, in my opinion, adequately smoothly. Take that, oh, my washer's stuck. There's a spring. Okay. And that washer, oh, it's gummed. I don't think that's its permanent location. It's off center. Whatever, let's scrub. Trying to decide if this is unacceptable wear, but at the same time, like look at that, there's some corrosion on there. But at the same time, this one doesn't use hydraulic fluid for its pressure against the other side. It uses this spring, so as long as it moves back and forth okay, I think we're okay. If none of this works, and I have to send this to a shop, I guess they're going to do this again. I was telling a friend at church on Sunday that I was trying to do this, and we started talking about the complexities of the tests that they do. It's pretty crazy. I don't know, all of the details about how these work, it's pretty crazy. a brush that's straight out. Maybe my finger. Yep, that moves nice. I still think this washer on the front should come off of there. But it does not want to. And it's in the wrong. Oh, there it goes. It's not centered. It's rusted. Dang it. That cannot be good for it. I think I am going to hit that with a little bit of superfine. Very much, just doing absolutely nothing. Not even wearing activewear. Yep. Told not to use wire brushes. Brings out sandpaper. All right, I think that part's okay. I really don't think there's anything else to do on this pump until I get the parts. So it's all the way apart. The only part I haven't taken off is the drain there, and I guess just for good measure. Why is that fighting me? Earlier when I was trying to diagnose this, I brought out one of these sockets that grabs all 4 of those sides of that plug really well, and this one is plastic, so I do not want to break it. It's like Teflon. And oh, there is some gunk in there. All right, I'm glad I pulled that off. Where's my fuel? Worth it to try to use one of these. I mean, I've got them over here. Just don't want to mess anything up. I still don't really understand what the fuel regulator does, because the fuel in right here has all of that open. And so I don't understand. Is that what gets it to the bottom? Don't know. Quick. Oh, I know what we can do. Yeah, the fuel regulator thing. All right, where did it go? back in there. Oh my goodness, what is that? So this should smoothly travel up and down inside of this to regulate fuel. And I don't have a lot of confidence that it's going to work because of the way we had to get it out. Maybe I should let it soak a little bit longer before I try anything. I do not like the idea of tapping on it anymore. I need to throw this away. And left all kinds of fun for me. Yeah, there's more down here. Darn it. The inside looks like a mirror, nice and clean. The outside of this looks really good as well. Okay, that feels fine. It's got multiple inputs and outputs. Like there's even a tiny hole right there. And then there's a groove back here. So I don't know if it has to go all the way up and down. The area is free. There is a spring. Oh, that's right, there's a spring on top of it. So maybe it doesn't have to go all the way up. And it doesn't want to. I mean, it definitely doesn't want to go any higher than I'm already doing it. Makes sense it has to go at least touch the spring. And right now it does not want to even go up to the spring. Very happy on the bottom half. And it's up all the way to that little hole, almost. And I'm just nervous that if I push that any further, that I'm going to put marks in this part that I can't get back out. So the fact that it's moving at all, that's a huge improvement for this thing. Yeah, I don't know. It sits in that galley. Okay, it sits down in that galley. On top of this spring, and then this spring is in there, and then this is on top. So the whole thing's, oh golf, the whole thing is supposed to move. It was not moving very well. This is also the low side of the pump, too. There's no pressure on this side of the pump. Yikes, I don't know. Wait, this thing can't be moving up and down a whole bunch. It's got a O-ring on it. So this does not go up and down. It's got to be the thing inside. Okay, because I'm like, this thing does not feel at all like it wants to go in and out of there. Dang, it doesn't feel like it wants to go in at all. What's going on here? Crap. Now I don't know for sure which way is up and down. I think that way's up. I really do. I think. All right, well, let's call that a video. I gotta make sure that this is the right direction. I think it is, but Man, if I'm wrong, I don't want to jam. I want to force anything, and this thing just does not feel good at all. All right, hey, we'll add more later.